All right, perfect. We are now recording. We are all set to go. I am going to call the special meeting agenda, the special meeting of the Performing Arts Commission of the Town of Groton to order. It is 6:17 p.m. All, so 6:17 p.m. and roll call. Commissioner Donahue. Present. Commissioner Redette. He's not here. Commissioner Trusky.
Here.
And Miss Whimsy is here, but she
I'm just a side issue.
yeah, they did not add you. But
Of
okay,
course not. I'm
so
not really here.
we have 4 members present. The only one that's absent is Commissioner Redette. He informed me he had a concert tonight. So he's fine. We're going to do the approval of minutes. I make a motion to the approval of the October 2nd, 2024 special meeting minutes of the Performing Arts Commission. It should have been in your packets.
Second.
Seconded by Whimsy. Any discussion? All those in hearing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Opposed, abstention, carries unanimously 4-0. Unfinished business, the adoption of the meeting count of the 2025 meeting calendar. So since we are now heading into the 2025, it is we agreed last meeting for the discussion of commissioners to do the first Wednesday of the month, with the exception of January. We're going to do the second Wednesday because it's January 1st.
Yeah.
So just know if you can't attend, let me know. You'll be getting agendas, and I'll try to, as chair, I'll try and send reminders as well. So I will look a favor upon a motion to adopt the 2025 calendar. Adopt. Moved by Whimsy. Second.
Second.
Seconded by Donahue. Right. And I just want to read it for the record. The Performing Arts Commission will meet monthly on the first Wednesday of the month. All meetings will be held at 6 p.m. as a hybrid meeting at the Town Hall Annex Conference Room 2. The reason we are setting this is for Freedom of Information Act purposes, because we are technically a governing body. Actually, we're commissioned based on this Town of Groton. So that is the reason for that. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the adoption of the calendar?
Aye.
Aye. And then opposed, abstentions, motion carries 4-0. And now the fun part. New business, we were going to have a discussion with town staff in our last meeting. We discussed having a potential performing arts space and the potential use of the Fitch Middle School auditorium, and what our plans are. Director Barry oversees the Groton Community Center. He is here, of the Parks and Rec Department, and Director Hanover, Director of Public Works, who would see any potential construction of that project. So I'm going to have one of our distinguished directors, if they would like to open it up and give a little bit of information.
I don't know, Greg, you want me to go first?
Sorry.
Okay. So anyway, thank you all for inviting me to this meeting. We're excited about the possibility of reopening the auditorium in the community center. This discussion started, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. And I know Director Hanover put some numbers together, and at the time, due to other priorities, we were not able to get the funding necessary to move this project forward. I know there is interest among groups other than the Parks and Recreation Department. Both Groton Regional Theater and the Noank Mystic Community Band have expressed interest in utilizing that space for performances and for practices. Currently, the Groton Regional Theater practices and performs on the small stage at Thrive 55, the Groton Senior Center. And I think portions of the Noank Mystic Community Band practice at Thrive also. Both groups had previously expressed interest in supporting this project through some type of fundraising. We never really got that far into the details, just because at the time, it didn't look like the project was going to be able to move forward. But hopefully with this new performing arts committee, we can kind of reignite that proposed project. And I think at this point, maybe I'll turn it over to Greg so that he can give you updated numbers on projected costs to open it up and explain those costs.
Sure, thanks, Mark. Just a little bit of background. If nobody, knows how we got where we are today, but the Board of Ed closed the school back in 2012, I believe it was. They turned it over to the town. Since that time, we have done some improvements, renovations. We did put a new roof on the A wing. The A wing is the area we're talking about. This is the 1927, the original high school. This is the part you really see from Route 1 story structure, and that's in the middle of this A wing is where this auditorium is. Currently a 348 seat auditorium with an elevated stage. We do actually have not a very good picture, but here's a picture.
High school auditorium.
Yeah, it looks like an old high school auditorium.
Yes.
But as Mark said, we've always had some interest in developing the space. It is a nice space for community bands, lecture series, you name it, any public use. So we've had some studies done for the entire community center, which is the A, B, C, and D wing, to really renovate it for other spaces other than just the auditorium. That was like a $40 million price tag. We presented that to the town council.
They went,
Yeah. And we kind of put it on hold.
Still go like that.
yeah. Some of them got less hair than they had before.
But that's the going price of things.
Could I ask
Let him finish. And then I'll
Okay,
call
all right.
commissioners.
Because I'm having a question.
Sure. But when we got cost estimates a couple of years ago, they did break it out into different sections of the building. So I was able to extrapolate the auditorium costs, put some numbers to those. Again, you might gasp at the numbers, but we're looking at like a project of around $2 million to the auditorium and get that up and running. It does have air conditioning now, but that hasn't been run since the building. Really very much before then, so we're assuming that all the equipment there needs to be replaced. Dr. may be able to do meetings, but that's probably one of the bigger ticket items. Russ looked at doing some electrical upgrades for theatrical lighting, things of that sort. And the issue is the stage is at 1,200 square feet now. Under the building code, because of that size, it would require these large smoke doors in the roof. There's a fire there. But if we bring it to 1,000 square feet, we can get away without having to put those in. So the architect actually had done a preliminary plans of putting some glass partitions, if you will, on wings of the side of the stage, which doesn't really impact the usable area, but does get us away from putting these expensive smoke doors. We also need to put in some ADA accessible bathroom. And the auditorium itself, so wheelchair access, EA assisted light, listening systems, emergency egress lighting, general lighting, signage, finishes, paint, and carpet, and all that stuff. So believe it or not, all that stuff adds up. There would be architects' fees and stuff about $2 million, $450 a square foot. We did compare that to did not present this $40 million. Piecemealing it, kind of looking at piecemealing things now, I guess. That's what we're at. Answer questions.
Oh, one question.
I do remind commissioners, we did adopt rules in Robert's Rules of Order, so I will recognize Commissioner Whimsy for her questions of Director Hanover and Director Barry.
You already answered a couple about the handicap access, because I noticed when I voted the handicap access. Anyone, he was killing me that day, and it was ugly. But my other question is parking. Are they gonna do something with like the athletic fields to make a parking lot or something? Because I don't think the parking as is adequate.
The only plans when we did the larger building project was the Dewey, which is the furthest in the back. If you go on Depot Road, it's an old elementary school. We could actually demolish that because that building's in poor shape, and create a parking lot there. But that's not included in this number. So if we needed additional parking, that's plus. Parking area. And then to answer your first question a little bit further on the handicap access, I know right now the access to this building is through the main entrance for the parks program, up to the corner in Town Hall there. You have to kind of go a circuitous route up an elevator and down. It's a legal route, and that's what we would still have for this tour.
So you just have to put signage up.
Yeah, that'd be,
Parking
yeah, there are,
fences,
yeah, maybe some better signage. To get access to the front of the building would require a huge long.
Oh, yeah, no, it wouldn't even be room for that. You lose what, half the parking you got?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good about the demolishing, because that's trying to hold up something that's rotting the whole place down, and then that would give you the parking.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, thank you.
Any other commissioner questions? Trustee?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm having a very difficult time understanding a lot of what's being said. It's the audio is kind of in and out for me, so I'm trying my best to glean the main gist of the content that is, that you're saying there. So yeah, I don't really have any questions, although I did hear I heard something about demolishing part of the building.
I was saying that as part of we looked at a larger project to renovate the entire building, which includes like the gym and where Parks and Rec has all the programs. And as part of that there's a wing in the far back, parallel to Depot Road. It's just used for storage now. That building is in very poor condition, and it's the recommendation of all the folks who've had a look at it that doesn't make any sense to renovate it. This just to demolish it. It's too far gone. That will be used for additional parking. Was the question? That's what we had envisioned doing back there.
And just to make sure I'm clear, we're talking about as you're facing the building from the side road. This is the right hand section of it.
Yeah, the farthest to the right or the south. You're facing it from Depot Road.
Yep.
It goes down towards Bluff Point.
Yeah, so we're talking about the side of the building that's closest to Bluff Point.
Correct.
Okay.
That's
Was it standalone elementary school?
Right, yeah, my grandson's one.
Commissioner Trusky, are you good?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Are you good? Do you have like any other questions or?
Yes, I'm very good. And no, I don't have any more questions right at the moment. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Donahue.
Well, I was wondering, is there any appetite from any local businesses to develop that as a strategy? There's plenty of construction going on in town, including my own house right now. I'm looking at putting in a new restaurant type across the street from. But a new restaurant's going in, building in the corner, whatever leads down to Groton. You know what I mean? It's across from that chicken place.
Oh, next to the city,
Main Street.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe if I-
Well, my question is, you know, there's builders around who might get some. Bill, it could be time to help us with some of this cash outlay.
We usually don't find people that want to do that on town projects for whatever reason. Unless it's a smaller project or a large project like this. We got There's requirements we have to follow. Bidding that it's hard to get a contract for these larger projects. Market competitive. Success with that, smaller stuff.
I'm sorry, Greg, did you say something to me? I'm having a really hard time hearing everybody. I don't know if they can pull their mic, their
Yeah,
the
all right.
speakers closer and
Can
not,
you hear me?
not turn their heads.
I'm having the same problem, Mark. I
Yeah.
can hear about 20% of what's being said.
You're asking about in-kind donations from contractors. They typically don't see they're too willing to work on these larger projects.
Yeah, I mean, given the scale of this project, that would be quite a donation. You know, we have, like Greg's Director Hanover said, much smaller projects. We have groups have made small contributions, but a project of this scope, I think, would be beyond what any local contractor would be willing to fund.
I can give the example of what we did in Niantic.
I was just thinking about that, Chris.
We approached Ring Construction or Ring Lumber.
Rings End.
Yes, and they donated all of the lumber to build out one of the cinemas into a stage for live performance. It's now called the Lands or Ring Theater. It was a naming thing. I don't know exactly how much, but I guess I'm saying I would start small. But I'm wondering if there's any previous, has the town ever been able successfully to have any business interest in? And I think saying that, can we use the auditorium to raise money as it currently stands? So we start having events that raise money to help do this, get the buzz going that this is what's going to happen, join us, and then we have a variety of ways to raise funds necessary to do it. Stay in stages. You know, $2 million price tag scares the heck out of everybody. But if you say, well, we're going to do this first, because right now, for example, their current fundraising there, and I serve on their board or had, member at large now. They're looking at specific amounts of money to do certain things. Sound system, better microphones. They just broke through a wall into an adjacent cinema, so that is now the dressing room and practice rehearsal area. So it's great if somebody like builds a whole theater for $2 million or refurbishes a building. I think the price tag of the new Norwich Reed and Hughes building being turned into a police station is costing $55 million. For example, I mean, it's just frightening me, the amount of money. But slowly but surely can we get there? In other words, do we have the will in ourselves to be able to approach people who make decisions like that from corporations? Pfizer itself had the Pfizer players for many, many years. And they had a lot of money they put behind them. I don't know if the facts I wasn't there. But those are the ideas I would throw out to the committee or commission and say, We came up with a plan.
I'm gonna take a stab at kind of getting all ideas together. I guess my question would be, is the current state of the auditorium usable? For any,
Yeah, you could not have an assembly there because it doesn't meet current building codes.
okay, so it doesn't mean current, so it's completely like blocked off with caution tape and
Yes,
like
it
that.
has doors blocking that whole area. So when you go into voter registration,
Yeah.
you can't even get into it.
Okay. So it has doors blocked, okay, so then, to Commissioner Donahue's point, if we wanted to do a show to help raise money for it, we would have to do it at an alternate location. And then I guess my question was, is there any way, with the building codes, it's gonna be hard to kind of piecemeal this project together? Would you say?
Yeah, and you could do some, like the accessibility, some of the emergency egress, the stage partitions, those things are code required. Things like the air conditioning. I mean, you don't want to have people in there in summertime sweating, but
Yeah.
That doesn't, mean you can't open it.
Okay. What would the cost be of the code to do the
To
code?
do the code stuff, but that I don't have.
Okay. All right, you you could just forward that to me if you, when you get that, and that would be appreciated. And then, Commissioner Whimsy, I will get you in a second. And then, when were the numbers of this estimate done? Was it done like recently, or was it done years ago? Because I want to know, I'm seeing a lot as a counselor, inflation coming back to sometimes haunt us a little bit, and we're coming in with the budget, so I just want to know what the date is of it.
They were done in 2023, but I did add an escalation clause to bring up to 2026.
Okay. So this would be estimated for 2026,
Yeah.
cost of $2 million.
Yeah.
And then, you have this would actually, I think, would this be under Director Barry, or, for a potential CIP with the town, or a potential possible bond request through our state legislators? Is it ready to go for that, or are there a couple bit more steps, and kind of what's your plan if you do a CIP, when to present it in a budget?
If I were to do a CIP, I would have design funds and get an architect on board to do, plans and specs, at least preliminarily, so that we can get a better cost estimate.
Okay.
The numbers I'm putting out here are pretty, I want to say they're pretty rough.
Okay.
Could be less than that. I hate to say it's going to be more, but I think I was pretty conservative on the higher end.
Okay.
But that's where I would start, was getting some detailed designs and cost estimates done, so we can get an accurate cost estimate of budget could be.
And are you including the auditorium in the overall A-wing? Or did you just take out the auditorium because I know there has been some discussion about just doing the A-wing, B-wing, or C-wing, or D-wing, but all at once? Not all at once, kind of like, right, because it was that $40 million.
Yeah, I think he gave the town manager, I gave him a cost, it was like $11 million to do the A-wing.
Okay.
That was the whole thing, that was to bring Icer House up there.
Yeah.
Judge of probate, put them up on the second floor, put IT up there, it was, to reutilize that whole.
Yeah, and that
That
was,
included the auditorium.
okay, perfect, all right. That's good to know. I know we're hiring a full-time,
Grants writer.
grants writer. Any potential, I'm assuming there's some potential of
Something
this.
different.
Yeah. So, that's just kind of an idea that I want to stick out there, is like, hey, we have a grant writer, a grant coordinator that's coming onto the town staff. Which is, so it could be, an option there as well. All right, I'm gonna recognize Commissioner Whimsy now.
Well, that actually answered one of my questions, because it was about, given the scope of the project, I think that government funding and a grant writer probably our only way to go. To raise that kind of money from people who are not, you know, I don't see that happening. The other question is, do we want to promote the arts, find a space and use it, or do we want to become basically a building committee before we can ever set a troupe on the stage or even for rehearsal? I happen to know that Pfizer has a fabulous auditorium down there on Eastern Point Road. I've taken classes there. It's absolutely stunning. And I don't believe they use it at night. Because when they have scientists come to give lectures, which is what it's basically used for, it's during the day, so that most of the workforce, it's beautiful. It's state of the art. And there's an associated cafeteria. There's a boatload of parking at night, and very accessible. You know where the Hess terminal is and the main entrance to the Pfizer, not the one that they made over by the golf course, but the main entrance. You just go in there, and it's this huge, I would say, every 300 or 400 seat auditorium, state of the art. Perhaps it would be way cheaper, and we could get the arts going. And once you get the arts going, it tends to be, you know, people die leaving money and shit. At least you hope. Annuities.
That is an interesting line. I did not expect to hear that.
You get to be my age, you think about dying anyway. And it would be a way to get an actual arts program going if we could go through that, rather than becoming a building committee for what looks like 4 years probably. What with the way building usually goes, you tear down a wing and you find out there's subterranean rot, or nothing ever goes smooth in the building world. I have an old house. I've been remodeling it. In 50 years, I'm almost finished.
Director Barry, as Parks and Rec director, are you aware of this Pfizer Theater? Is there any partnership? Has there been any outreach, quote unquote, or stuff like that?
I was not aware that Pfizer had this state-of-the-art auditorium.
I will say the reason I know about it is because they used to partner with Conn College, and they had a whole lecture series there during the summer when it wasn't being used. I took Mayan culture. They had professors come from Conn College. There was a poetry workshop thing, and you could take them for credit. All you had to do was walk down and show up and buy books. And so clearly, at least back then, they were more than open to having it being used rather than just sitting there. That was a while ago. But I mean, I would like to have some arts happening, whatever it may be. I didn't really, if it said building committee, I'd be like, I got enough to do at home.
Yeah. That's a very good point.
Can I ask?
Yeah, Commissioner Trusky.
Yeah, I'm just curious, are folks aware of Groton Regional Theater, which has been in the area for probably almost 30 years, doing plays in Groton at the, I think Director Barry, I think you mentioned it before. I'm full disclosure, I'm on the board of Groton Regional Theater. I've been working with them off and on for years and doing a lot of theatrical stuff. But I just wondered if folks were aware that, there are plays happening in Groton that have been going on for quite a long time. So that's a good thing that, there is a performing arts presence in Groton. But I don't know how many people are actually aware of it.
Yeah, they put on 2, 3, 4 shows a year, and they're held at Thrive 55.
Correct. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure because I wasn't, it sounded like there was not maybe an awareness of the fact that they're there.
Yeah, it's not a terrific space.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but it's for a while, that's been the only available space that I think that the Groton Regional Theater was aware of.
Yeah, and I just remember years ago, taking a tour of the auditorium that we've been talking about, for possible use for, the group, and then, nothing really happened with it. And that was goodness me, I don't know how many years ago it was, at least 10 years ago. We walked through it and saw the auditorium. So, but I know the group has always desired to be able to utilize that space. As far as Pfizer is concerned, I'm not really sure, because they used to do, I know about the auditorium. They used to do when Pfizer Players was around, they did their plays at College. It's interesting that they did not use their own auditorium for the theatrical productions that went on, and the rehearsals and auditions were in the city of Groton at the is that a town hall building also? The building.
Municipal building.
I'm sorry, say that again.
The city municipal building.
Correct. That's it. That's what that's called. Yes. Yeah. So it's interesting that, and I'm not sure what the reasoning for that was, unless there are, insurance issues that they're concerned about, or I really have no idea.
I have not been through the new high school, or the middle school, but it was my understanding that they had built I think they call it a black box, which I think is a performance area. And I don't know what might be available at the high school for space. That might be a little bit more appealing than it might be easier to get access to those spaces versus Pfizer, particularly if their own theater group wasn't performing there.
Yeah, I know that years ago, plays were done, at least one play was done by GRT at the high school auditorium, and I happened to have written and directed and produced it, and it was a children's show. And because GRT used to do a children's show every year, and we actually put this play on at Fitch High School as a free offering for local children. And that auditorium was jam-packed from one end to the other with kids. It was during the summer. And I also know that I believe there are insurance issues that have come up when discussing the possibility of using that auditorium in the past. And you said that there's a black box space there now?
I thought that, I haven't been through the middle school, but it was my understanding that there was, in the new building, there was a black box, which I guess is like a smaller size theater space. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, black box is defined as a very flexible, small space. Does not have a traditional proscenium stage or lighting, it's all flexible. Kind of like a multi-purpose room that you turn into whatever staging you want. It can be in the round, it can be in a horseshoe-shaped audience. Like it could be just one side of it. So it's just very flexible, depending on what you're producing. That's the term in the industry.
Yeah, like if
Okay.
anyone's been to Chestnut Street Playhouse up in Norwich, it's a firehouse that was converted into a theater, and that's considered a black box space. There is not one at the middle school in Groton.
Oh, there isn't.
But
Okay.
because I take writing classes over there.
All right, I'm going to take control back of the meeting here. Hold on. So I'm going to take the floor back, Commissioner Trump. I'm just going to kind of get us back on order. So my understanding was that there is a black box theater in the middle school. I don't know if they're using it for a black box theater. I did have a casual discussion with Dr. Kennedy of Groton Schools, who is overseeing the renovation of the Fitch High School auditorium. And so there may be some avenue and leeway there for a potential partnership of finding a space. So tonight's meeting with our town staff was kind of just to gather information of where everything was and then kind of see, what might work best as well for our community. So nothing really, just kind of like idea gathering still as we're still getting our feet under the ground. I am going to recognize. Does anybody want to speak real quick? Oh, yeah, Commissioner Donahue.
I like to return to what Commissioner Lindsay talked about, which is get the performances going. And I look at success stories like Shakespeare in the Park in Westerly. There's no building required. I don't believe there's any insurance issues because there's no danger to anybody attending. Often they're free because they're funded by enormous donations because it's being going. So we got to get something going. I think that's what we do. And I'm looking at what Parks and Recreation, what parks can be used. Because that's putting up the stage. People bring their own blankets, their own chairs. There's no building at all.
Like the concerts in the park.
Concerts in the
Washington Park. Fridays also.
When I drive by and see sports games here in this huge field, everybody sees it. Getting that it's not even word of mouth anymore. Like word of your own eyes going, what's going on over there? Oh my gosh, it's a play. So that's where I'd like to take this.
All right.
That's what.
I am gonna thank you. You're all set.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Commissioner Trusky, I recognize you 1 second, but I'm just gonna say real quick, just to kind of piggyback off of Mr. Donahue. Director Barry, do you have any performing arts programming currently in the Parks and Rec department, and what does that kind of look like if you do, and who oversees it?
Yeah, at this point, we do not because we don't really have an adequate space to do that. We have not utilized the schools. We have tried to run most of our programs at the current space we're in, the Old Fitch Middle School. So at this time, we don't really have performing arts programs set up.
Thank you. Commissioner Trusky?
Yes, I just wanted to point out that the gentleman who teaches writing for the Groton Town Park and Rec Department, Nikki Checker, teaches
Yes.
playwriting classes. We've been friends for 30 years and I take his writing classes. I've also performed for his playwriting group, and I would be happy to talk at some point, if anybody's interested, about maybe pulling a GRT performance with some of Nikki's work with some of his students and pulling like a show together that we could do outdoors that would combine what's going on with Parks and Rec and also what's going on with GRT, and maybe get some music involved and do something like that in the summertime as a fundraiser.
Actually,
Yeah, and that is an adult program, and they have taken some of the screenplays that they've written and will perform those over in New London, and I'm blanking on the name. Oh, the Guard Theater. Yes.
Games Club too.
Oh, okay.
all right. Does anyone have any questions for Director Barry, Director Hanover? Because I know they do a lot for our town and they do work a lot. We could do some other business. We have an other business agenda item that we could get to. I just want to see if anybody has any last minute questions or discussions for them. And then I would be happy to let them go enjoy the rest of their evenings.
Sure. Well, I appreciate everything that they're doing for us, and I am happy to help in any way that I can with all of this. So just let me know what I can do. I'll do it.
Thank you.
Director Barry, do you have all the commissioners' contact information by chance? If not, I can get it to you.
Yeah, well, there was an email that went out
Okay.
from.
I don't
least-
know. I think I might have put you and Director Hanover on a separate email. So it might have just
Oh,
been,
okay.
So make sure you have the contact information, any potential programming you may have. feel free to just let us know.
Okay.
I believe many of the commissioners would be very interested in possibly helping out, giving some ideas of that. And for me, I'm speaking for me, not for the commission, but I think from what the consensus I'm getting of the commission right now is we'd like to see some expansion and we'd like to be in some touch with some ideas.
Sure. Okay.
Commissioner Donahue,
I also want to let everyone in the room know that there is a film distributorship in Stonington. It's a nonprofit film. I am the marketing board member for it. And there are wonderful films, one that we're actually showing at the library. Now, I see us expanding to Parks and Recreation. Again, it's the kind of thing where you do need some kind of screening area to show the film. But I don't want to get back into the real estate discussion. Yeah, what I'd like to say is I'd like to share my information about that organization because there are ways for organizations to buy the rights to show the film. It can be used as a fundraiser. It can be, for example, in London, we're doing a film we now distribute called Those People. It was an award-winning film about how performance art helped the police in New London, the gangs in New London, meet a common thing. And it's called Those People because that's how each of the sides of the issue, of the sectors, were thinking about it. Those people are bad, we're the good ones. And it really was a phenomenal film, won several awards. And we're very happy to have the rights to it. There are other films about culture, the environment, all sorts of topical areas. When I share that with you, what I'd like to do is have you go look at the website. You can see all of the trailers to the films. They're appropriate. We just did a workshop, for example, at Stone Ridge, where they bought the course for, I think it was 12 residents to learn how to make their own films using equipment that we have that is as simple as an iPad where you actually make a whole film and you edit it and then you show them, and we are showing them at places like Mystic Cinema. I'd like to take that kind of energy, community, and activity in all the performing arts because film is actually just great. And that's another way to sort of reach out and become. My vision for this organization, our organization here, would be that Groton gets as well known as these other towns around us who are having an economic impact because the arts does that. So that's so I will share that with you. It's Green Planet Films. I wrote some cards again tonight, so I'll distribute them to the people in the room. Then I'll send that to you.
I can get it to Director Barry.
Thank you.
Was that Green Planet?
Green Planet, yes. We started
Great.
20 years ago. We celebrated our 20th anniversary last year. Great fundraisers. And we expanded our library. I think we have about 350.
All right. I'm gonna let our amazing town staff go. We're gonna move on to other business and kind of debrief just a little bit. Thank you, Director Hanover. It was good seeing you. I'm sure I'll be seeing you eventually. And thank you so much for your information. And we'll probably be in touch. That's all. All right.
Yeah. Talk to Tom Andrew about it.
Okay. Thank you. And then Director Barry, you're all set to hop off too. I thank you for your time.
Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Director Hanover, I do thank you for helping with the tech on the ground. It was great.
Sean's traveling.
Yeah, I know. All right. All right, we're going to move on to other business. That was a great discussion. I do want to have a little bit of a conversation in other business about what are we looking for in our next meeting. I'm hearing I've heard some great things about fundraisers. That $2 million price tag is kind of interesting. I'm gonna before I put fundraising on the agenda, I'm gonna talk with Town Manager Burt about what the process is for fundraising. I want to make sure we're in compliance with town regulations and state law. I don't want to get us in any trouble. And then so
The FBI.
yeah.
Comes to your friend.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make note of that. And then I just kind of want to get a consensus. Are we, because I know we had discussed in a previous meeting about meeting with the schools and about seeing about airspace. I think so. The direction do we want to go is, do we want to go space or do we want to go with performance first that can then lead into space? Do I have anybody have any thoughts on that?
Before that even happened, feeling is that creates contacts, media, newspapers, local news, so that whatever direction you decide on, somebody goes, "Oh my God, this is fabulous." We have to be able to spring into action, get the word out. And now that nobody reads newspapers,
So, um, so publicity slash ad.
flyers are okay, but they're not environmentally sound.
The town has been doing a lot of like community presentations throughout the town, whether it's been at the library or been here or been. So I mean, we could possibly prepare to do a presentation, and we would advertise it out on the town website and all of the town social medias too. Maybe get a newspaper advertisement, and then we could do something along the lines of that.
They cost the earth, by the way.
Yeah.
They do.
Does the town have a social presence?
Yes,
Social media?
yes,
Do they? Okay.
yes, yes.
Good to know.
They have each pretty much department has its own social presence.
Oh, goody.
So, because I mean, the police department, the town has their own one, and then the police department will be like help with an investigation. The Parks and Rec will be advertising a performing arts, hopefully one
Well,
day.
they do a good job of getting out the information on the summer concert.
Yep.
They do.
Yeah.
It's there.
So, and then kind of each department, the planning, they have their own. They're kind of like that, doing like that kind of their own thing. They're calling them community conversations, but I forget what page they're a part of.
They come in the free paper.
Yeah.
Stuff that you make.
So I'm gonna have fun. So I'm having, for me right now, I have fundraising rules. We'll have a discussion over that, and then publicity slash advertising discussion. And then what we could want as a potential presentation. And then
I think
Mr.
I'm
Ramsey?
not. Oh. For renovating the school. It's been so like, it's a nice building, it's a shame to see it not being used, but I just costs it. And like they're saying, that wing even needs to be pulled down, God knows.
I would like to remind.
But I wanna make sure that I'm not like, oh my God, I'm gonna go forget, no.
I would remind Commissioner Whimsy to keep potential profanity out of the meeting. It's all right. It's
We're in the shipyard 13.
Yeah.
Babe, good luck on that.
Yeah, I just want to keep it.
Good luck,
We are technically being recorded, so I just want to
Yeah.
make that clear. So
I have one thing.
yeah, Commissioner Donahue.
I don't know where it is, but we have to compile data. And the data that I would like to compile is who's involved, where they're involved, what can we do for them. My approach has always been not what can you do neighbor, what can I do for you? That would be an example, and I don't know how to do it. I was gonna start it, and I want to make sure that the community thinks it's a good idea. All of the high schools have some kind of performing arts, bands, drama club.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm gonna be reaching out at the same time to all of their ecology clubs and the students that have extracurricular activity and recycling, all this other kind of. Because I think you meet people where they are, they meet you. And so how do we go about that? That's a big task. All of the teachers, all of the band leaders, all the music
Yeah.
people, the arts. So that's what we're talking about the school.
Yeah, that was why we were talking about the school. You're refreshing my memory. Yeah.
It just wasn't there. We don't want their rooms.
We want a partnership
We want
and the involvement. That was it.
Where they could come to us and say, we have this great drama class.
Yeah.
Really like to put on something.
Yeah.
And you fit us into your space, and we would look at our calendar and say, yeah, how
Yeah.
about the weekend of, or 2 weekends, or whatever they want. And that would be so wonderful for them.
So then that would go.
and it's not glamorous, it's very tedious.
No, yeah, I know. It's gonna be very so I'm gonna put it as for our next meeting, I'm gonna put it as data gathering / drama club discussions. So right now I have fundraising rules with publicity / advertising discussion, that / presentation, kind of there. And then data gathering, I'm gonna have it, but that'll be, we'll have it under drama clubs.
Music program.
Yeah, music.
Middle school.
Yeah.
Even middle school, everybody,
Yeah.
because
I gotta figure out, there's probably a, but, it's totally fine. I appreciate the discussion now, so I'm not
Well, like some kind of form letter we could send out to all
Yeah.
the schools and say, this is who you can contact if you would. like
There's
to work with
there's
us.
definitely there's gotta be someone in the school system that probably
Probably more
had
than one.
probably more than one. Well, I'm hoping that there's somebody that's kind of like has them all connected. Yeah,
That's
no,
what usually gets stuck with.
yeah.
Not doing anything.
So fundraising, and then I do know we could actually talk to Dr. Kennedy, who is the no,
What is he, yeah.
he's director of technology for schools, and he's currently overseeing the renovation of the Fitch High School auditorium. So we could do a Fitch High School auditorium status, and then maybe with him we'll have an update of the kind of, a better way to contact, the drama clubs is in the school system. So he may have some better ideas about that. So we got that. And then Commissioner Trusky, you had mentioned earlier that that you had known a couple of like playwright groups and stuff that we were talking with Director Barry about with the playwriting class. What organization was that, and what could that kind of relationship be like a little bit?
The playwriting class is offered by Groton Town Parks and Recs.
Yeah, but what I'm asking is about the teacher who teaches those courses in their organization that they're affiliated with.
He's a teacher. He's affiliated with Groton Town Parks and Recreation. He is a published local playwright and author who teaches all the writing classes for Groton Town Parks and Rec. And he is a local creative person who he's made films, he's done plays, he's a very prolific writer. So, when I was kind of thinking about, what we already have going on here in Groton, his classes came to mind right away because they're through town, Park and Rec Department. And then, of course, Groton Regional Theater. And I was thinking, I was envisioning, getting him and his students together and getting Groton Regional Theater together, and perhaps a, Mystic Noah community band or something, to do an evening or an afternoon of entertainment that could be potentially used as a fundraiser at some point in the future, perhaps next summer, perhaps, outdoors. And in the, I'm sorry, I can't even remember the name of the place with the track that is right across from Grasso Tech.
Five Plains Park.
Yeah, Pequannock Plains Park. Maybe something there or whatever. I'm into planning events and pulling creative people together to do cool stuff. So, that's kind of something I could offer perhaps down the road.
Is for next. I'm trying to think of next month, and maybe we can revisit that. We are going to be able. That'll be quick. The fundraising rules. Publicity and advertising discussion, and then presentation, and then so yeah, it's a lot. I may push that down to February about doing a program, and then we can bring Director Barry back and talk about designing a program. I'm gonna do program stakeholders, because I know Commissioner Redette, he is involved in Michigan Chamber of Music series.
Right.
He has orchestra, string quartets and string performance as well.
Like they do for the city cabaret at the Groton Municipal building.
Sort of.
They have wonderful.
Interesting.
And free.
Yeah. All right. So that's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So that, I think we're good. I think I'm good for creating an agenda for next meeting.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And then, I'm just gonna say as chair, I'm trying to keep it to an hour roughly, give or take. Just kind of, an ideas gathering, and then, I do like the direction we're going. We're coming up with some ideas, really getting the ground running. We had a great discussion with our town staff tonight, which I think kind of, I think the $2 million price tag as a town council, voting on the budget, that scares me. But
I'm still not, I don't think I'll get over that.
yeah.
Maybe longer.
So definitely, and then understanding kind of that area. So I think we're good. I think we're good for our next month.
Got a ton of ideas. We
Good.
could have 2-3 meetings just on.
Yeah, I know we could
One
have.
of those ideas.
Yeah, we could.
You know?
So we got our next monthly meeting for January 8th.
8. I gotta make sure.
You will get an email. All commissioners will get an email
Yes.
with a Zoom link as well if you need to attend virtually.
I was sitting there for an hour with my little
Yeah.
tab. No, I'm coming here.
Commissioner Trusty loves the Zoom. Yeah, what's up, Commissioner Trusty?
I'm sorry, Dan. I have another thought I just wanted to share, and you can put it anywhere you want, and for next time or the time after that. But we have the Groton Fall Festival there at Pequannock Plains Park, and that's always been really fun. And I'm thinking, I think it would be really pretty awesome if we could create a Groton Arts Festival that would have, it would involve artists, it would involve performing arts, and just, bring a whole bunch of creative people together from our Groton community to show what they do. And, they could, some people can sell artworks, and we can do performances at certain times during the day. And, there's so much talent in the area. And I've lived in Groton since 1982, and I know, of course, I was only 6 months old when I moved here. No, I'm just kidding. But I could bring a lot of folks together to do something really neat, and we could start like an annual tradition that would bring people to Groton and show off all the creative people we have here.
And I appreciate the Groton Arts Festival idea. I think that's a great idea. Where I'm gonna put that, because it's kind of gonna be a lot and it's gonna be interesting. I don't know how quickly we can get that going, but, moving that into our publicity and advertising discussion / presentation that we're thinking about doing, just kind of put it in there and say, hey, this is what we want to do. If you want to get involved, let us know, stuff like that. So,
Yeah, because you're gonna have to get groups to come in.
yeah, you're gonna have to,
Yeah, I would like to,
yeah, Commissioner Donahue, go right ahead.
I would like to volunteer between now and next meeting to start compiling the stakeholders that I think need outreach to.
Okay,
And if you could do the same thing with the artists you're talking about, so we have them written down. I'm a very firm believer in data on paper.
all right. So actually, let me make a motion real quick, and then we can vote on that. A motion to, yeah.
I don't want to do.
You guys are frozen.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm writing on a motion that we can.
He's thinking, okay, here, a motion.
Oh, now I can hear you. Yeah.
No, the sound didn't go out, we just spoke.
No, yeah.
I know that was weird.
You were just being very quiet.
You were.
First time this week. Where are we, Wednesday? Nah.
Yeah.
No, it's Wednesday. Yep.
Well, I'm here, so it must be.
Okay. Hey, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna make a motion for all commissioners to provide a list of potential stakeholders they are aware of in the performing arts community in Groton for our January 8th, 2024 meeting. So moved.
I second that.
Seconded by Donahue. Discussion.
Let me just say one thing about
Yeah, Commissioner Woodsy, go ahead.
let's not all call all the same. We're gonna do that. We should provide labor, because you're only gonna drive me crazy.
Oh, that's a good idea. All right.
So
So
sorry, I couldn't hear that.
I just suggested that we should make a list so that we're not calling the same people, all of us.
Like what?
Because that would be
So
annoying.
let's that's a
Well,
good idea.
We're not actually going to be calling people. We're just making a list, right?
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, yeah, just make it, just a list.
What we, all right, okay, that makes that, then that eliminates. that
Yeah,
one.
Because,
okay.
yeah, I would say
Alright.
just do a list, because then, we can kind of see,
We can tailor the message.
yeah, and then Taylor, and then one more.
To discover.
Oh, let's make an amendment. You wanna make an amendment to provide,
Identify.
to discover
Discover,
potential to discover
to seek out new worlds. No, that's
Yeah.
Star Trek, sorry.
So an amendment. So, Commissioner Whimsy, would you like to make an amendment?
Yeah, let's just say that we are going to attempt to discover through, I don't know, casual conversation in the Walmart checkout line.
Yeah. All right.
However, to find
So-
groups like she already has, Nick checked his whole, he has tentacles everywhere.
Yeah, so I have made an amendment Commissioner Whimsy has made an amendment. I would second it. So the amendment with the second is for all commissioners to, attempt to discover a potential stakeholders in the performing arts community for our January 8th. And that was seconded. So now we have an amendment to the original motion. So we're gonna have two votes. Any discussion, any further discussion? Okay, so I'm gonna read the amended motion, which is for all commissioners to attempt to discover a potential stakeholders in the performing arts community in Groton, the January 8th meeting. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 And then opposed, abstention. The amendment passes 4-0. Now we have to vote on the motion as amended, which is for all commissioners to attempt to discover potential stakeholders in the performing arts community for the next meeting. All those in favor on the amended motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Trusky, did you vote aye?
I
Oh,
did.
Okay, yeah, that's why I saw the mouth move, but I didn't hear it, so, okay.
Aye.
So that passes unanimously, so, that is something that we can all kind of strive to go and do. And then, so that will probably, you know what, I'm gonna put that as. I'm gonna make,
And I have my tickets to your Italian thing, just so you know.
I'm sorry.
I got the 2 tickets to the Luna performance.
Oh, you're coming. Oh, wonderful.
all right, I will, all right, I am gonna hear any other further business we need to discuss before we adjourn the meeting? Okay. All right,
think
I
we're
will
all
look
set,
in
Dan.
favor upon a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Seconded by, motion, to adjourn by Whimsy, seconded by Trusky. It is not debatable. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 And the, Performing Arts Commission special meeting is adjourned at 7:23 PM. Give me 1 second.